This might be the most frustrating product in modern guitar gear because the sound it absolutely destroys. But then you try to build a professional rig around it and suddenly the best sounding platform in guitar feels half finished. And over the last year I started noticing something, and then I realized the audience has already designed the perfect Tonex Flagship. So today, with the help of your comments, we're building the ultimate Tonex future-proof guitar rig of the future rig. Let's go. But before we can talk about what Tonex isn't, we need to talk about what Tonex has absolutely nailed. The tones. The response feels real. The pick attack feels real. The dynamics feel real. And when you push it, it reacts like a real amp. And honestly, I think IK Multimedia accidentally created one of the best sounding amp platforms ever made. But then they stopped halfway. If you're a bedroom guitarist, this thing is freaking awesome. But if you're trying to run a modern professional rig, things get messy real fast. So to implement Tonex, you're looking at getting these things. Extra switching. This, external effects. This, more MIDI. This, beefed up power supplies. This, line isolators. Add in all the MIDI and audio cabling that you need to get this thing up and running, and you've got an absolute bird's nest. And eventually your simplified digital rig becomes more complex than the amp rig that you were replacing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the gap. So hypothetically speaking, what would happen if IK Multimedia fully committed to a flagship device? This is a flagship you lot have been asking for. Not more feature updates, not more versions of the Tonex One, not another accessory, a real flagship device. And with the help of your feedback in the comments section, this is the idea that could change everything for IK Multimedia. A professional unit aimed at the gigging guitarist. No brainer, really. Speaking of brains though, right now pretty much every modeler lives on the floor. But what if it didn't have to? The brains of the unit stays backstage or in a rack or up against the back line or somewhere away from drinks or random ass people stepping on it. And front of stage, the only thing you actually touch during a set. The Footswitches though, give us freaking heaps. Clean, simple, and professional. But here's the genius part though. The brains and the foot pedal dock together. Winning. So if you're at home or in the studio or rehearsing or compact stage setups, the two units can live together in one single entity. But if you're touring or you're playing bigger stages and you want to keep your unit safe, you can leave the brains at the back while you've got the floorboard at the front of the stage doing all the switching. Next thing you legends are asking for is the screen, not some piddly little LCD garbage thing that's going on the big Tonex now, but a real big old 7-inch bloody touchscreen thingo where you can touch things and play with things, and we all like touching things. I'm talking drag and drop editing, visible signal chains, a nice bright screen for outdoor stages, real-time control over all your effect parameters. Helix Stadium's gone touchscreen, QC's touchscreen. We're used to using phones and tablets. The logical next step for a unit this complex is to use a touchscreen. We're used to that UI, give it to us. And just like all the other flagship devices that are on the market, Footswitches give us RGB LEDs, give us scribble strips so we know what the hell's going on. Different assignable modes, access to snapshots and presets, and access to the pedals that we've got in our rig. And by the way, if you are into guitar gear reviews, Tonex, modern rigs, amp captures, brutally honest gear discussions, or just a stupid Australian accent, go and hit that subscribe button. That'd be bonza, mate. Cheers. Kangaroos, because apparently we're designing pedals now. Awesome. Now this is where it gets interesting because the current IK Multimedia ecosystem is massive and fragmented. You got Tonex, you got Amplitube, you got all the X series effects. Put all that shit in one box, please. And then give the flagship enough DSP to be able to run it all. I don't want to hit a DSP limit when I'm running one amp, two reverbs, an overdrive, and a delay. Then it runs out of juice and it's no more useful than a pod go. Because right now, everything feels separated. You got the big Tonex pedal, Tonex 1, a Tonex 1 Plus, a green Tonex, big Tonex bass, a little Tonex bass, a Satriani Tonex, a Dumble Tonex, EVH Tonexes ×3, Amplitube 5 at a bunch of different price points, Tonex at a bunch of different price points, and 3 different effect pedals. It's all guitar ecosystem, put it into one. And if you combine all that, this new Tonex will be Tonex captures, Amplitube models, Amplitube effects, Amplitube routing options, the 500 series rack gear, all the X series pedals, throw in some synth stuff, throw in some pitch effects like whammies and, you know, digital capos and all that sort of stuff. All that good stuff in one logical ecosystem. Yeah, sure, it might be too much for some people, but it can be scaled down later on. The issue at the moment with Tonex is going to be really hard to scale up its current form factor. And with that though, no more extra pedals, no working around silly software, no duplicate gear, just one modern, complete guitar rig. And speaking of software, the mess that it is now, let's get rid of that. And the editor needs to work exactly like this. What I see on the pedal is what should correspond to the screen. What I hear on the pedal should correspond to what I hear on a plug-in version on the screen. I don't want to use 4,000 different apps just to run one pedal. Amplitube, the Tonex app, the Tonex editor, the Tonex capture software, like streamline it, put it all into one. And speaking of captures though, make it native on the pedal that you can do it. I don't want to have to buy third-party gear just to use a feature that's already built into my flagship device. Stupid. Honestly, the way the software's set up at the moment, you know, I can understand why they've done it, but it just feels really clunky. I'd love to see a blend of what Line 6 does with a HX Edit software with some better UI, because look, HX Edit looks like you're playing on MS-DOS. It's functional, but it's ugly as shit. And features for the pro player, what am I talking about? Dual amp rigs, parallel pass, global EQ, parametric EQ, pre and post, the ability to turn off IRs and cab sim on certain outputs of the device so we can run into a power amp on stage, and also XLR out to front of house. Wi-Fi firmware updating and software integration, a phone or tablet app. Because it's 2026, so why the hell should this be necessary? And I'm not saying all this to shit on IK. 100% I'm not. I love the Tonex. I'm an absolute convert, I'm an absolute fanboy, and I'm not getting paid to say this. And honestly, I think they're one good product away from completely changing the modular market. Because right now, they've already solved the hardest part, the sound. It just doesn't feel like a fully realized platform for a modern guitarist. And IK Multimedia, if you watch this, listen, because the audience is telling you something. The next big thing that comes up in the comments a lot is I/O. Stereo ins and outs, XLR outs, effects loops. Make that shit future-proof. Give us the options of how we want to run the pedal and into what. So now I want your ideas. Tell me in the comment section below what we missed. If there's any other features you'd want to add to the Tonex that we haven't covered here. What is the killer feature that's missing? What have we missed? Let me know. Because this whole video came directly from your comments. And honestly, I think the community already knows what the future of guitar rigs look like, because you guys are using it and you guys want those features. But anyway, that's enough out of me. See you guys in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.